7 Live Africa, always on point.
Greetings, good people. What's up? What's happening? We're seeing a whole lot of things that have been happening in the nation of Zimbabwe, ladies and gentlemen. We saw Vice President Chiwenga showing up in full military gear. What are the implications of this? Now, it seems none other than Kudakwashi Tagwirei has made a counter move. And what has Kudakwashi Tagwirei done this time? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be covering all that. And we see Paul Mwazha rejects a ZANU PF funeral hijack attempt. What happened? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be covering all that right here on TV7 Live. Greetings, good people, to everybody who's watching us live right now.
As long as you member your general staff, Baba retirement age, tinofanira kuvachengeta nokuti ndo vakatichengeta isu. Saka isu inini ndakamira mudzimai wangu naupa ndinorohwa. Tichakuvakirai imba muno Highfield. Kana pakasara change. Imba iyi ndikakuisa 75,000. Novaka imba iyi. Pakasara change yacho unoya kwamuru. Saka ndozva ndakuitirai baba nebasa ramakatiitira muri kuhondo.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the heart of Zimbabwe, a battle royale is unfolding, a clash of the titans that could redefine the nation's destiny. On one side stands Kudakwashi Tagwirei, the billionaire tycoon, a man who has poured over $500 million into the political arena since 2013. On the other is Vice President Chiwenga, a military powerhouse with a legacy of coups and a faction ready to fight. And the prize is the presidency itself. Tagwirei's strategy is a masterclass in political maneuvering. He is not just buying loyalty, he is shaping the very fabric of ZANU PF. From funding elections to underwriting party logistics. From purchasing fleets of vehicles to investing in community projects, his financial might is a force to be reckoned with. But Chiwenga's faction, backed by the military iron fist, isn't about to concede. The battle lines are drawn, and the stakes couldn't be higher. With Mnangagwa's tacit approval, Tagwirei's campaign gathers unstoppable momentum. He is bridging gaps, foundation channels millions into developmental and charity works, winning philanthropy with political ambition. But can money truly triumph over the gun? As the 2030 elections loom on the horizon, or should I say 2028 elections, Zimbabwe watches breathless, waiting to see who will emerge victorious in this high-stakes game of power and ambition. The tension is palpable. Tagwirei's resources are a game changer, a material force that no single individual has ever wielded in ZANU PF's 62-year history. But Chiwenga's military backing is a reminder that in Zimbabwe, a gun has often had the final say. The battle between cash and gun is heating up. The outcome could reshape not just the ruling party of ZANU PF, but the entire nation. A few days ago, we saw tension is erupting at a military handover ceremony where we see Vice President Chiwenga storming the scene in full military regalia. Ladies and gentlemen, VP Chiwenga storms in full military regalia and the nation is on edge. Was this a bold power play or a sinister threat of another coup? Hold tight, this story is about to ignite. It's November 24, 2025, and the spotlight is on Harare's Charles Gumbo Barracks. Chiwenga, acting president, while President Emerson Mnangagwa tours Angola, he makes a stunning move. Donning his old defense uniform, the news walks are calling it a shot across the bow, a chilling reminder of the 2017 coup that ousted Robert Gabriel Mugabe with Chiwenga's own hands. Back then he was the mastermind, now he is flexing the muscle again, and the Mnangagwa allies are trembling. Let us set the stage. The handover saw General Philip Valerius Banda pass the torch to General Emmanuel Matutu, part of a recent military shuffle, widely seen as Mnangagwa's desperate bid to lock down loyalty. And the question is why? Because the succession battle is heating up. Chiwenga, once Mnangagwa's coup partner, is now his rival. And this uniform is not just fabric, it's a symbol of authority and a warning. Now, let's dig into the details. The ceremony at one commando regiment, elite troops with a history tracking back to Rhodesian forces and Zimbabwe's liberation war, turned into a political theater. Chiwenga, towering in his green fatigues, shook hands with a glam-faced Mnangagwa, whose team looked like they had seen a ghost. Reports say Defense Minister Opom Chinguri Kashiri and State Security Lab Mumatuke were visibly uncomfortable. Why? Because this echoes 2017 when Chiwenga's military might changed the game. But here's the twist. Some say it's all protocol. Temba Mlisco argues retired generals can wear uniforms at state events with the presidential nod. So, was this just a formality? Or it was a flex? Zim Live and other outlets point to Chiwenga's history, surviving the 2018 poisoning attempts and rebuilding his influence as proof he is not backing down. Meanwhile, Mnangagwa reshuffles, like elevating General Matutu scream, coup-proofing. But is it enough? What do we see now? Boom. The timing. With Mnangagwa out of the country, Chiwenga steps in as acting president. His uniform, a thunderclap. In the succession war, the news hawks claim Mnangagwa fled to Angola timidly. His keynote address laced with anxiety. But Chiwenga, he is a colossus. His body language screams dominance. Is this the prelude to a new coup or just a political theater to keep Mnangagwa on his toes? Ladies and gentlemen,
Casa Militar do Presidente da República, o Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública, comunicado. Instaurado pela alta chefia de diferentes ramos das Forças Armadas, o Alto Comando Militar para a restauração de segurança nacional e ordem pública acaba de assumir a plenitude dos poderes do Estado da República da Guiné-Bissau. Profundamente comprometido com os valores de segurança nacional.
Military coup in Guinea-Bissau echoes of Zimbabwe's governance wars. On 26 November 2025, Guinea-Bissau's military, led by Brigadier General Dennis Kana, executed a coup d'etat marking the fifth such intervention since the country's independence in 1974. This event unfolded just hours after a highly disputed presidential election, which had already been tainted by the exclusion of the main opposition party, the African Party for Independence of Guinea, Cape Verde, PAIGC. The coup has reignited discussions about political instability in Africa, drawing particular attention from Zimbabweans who see unsettling parallels with their own nation's struggle. And the details of the coup. In a video shared by journalist Hopo Chingono, Brigadier General Kana announced the establishment of a high commander for national restoration and public order during a press conference. He declared that the military had taken full power of the state in response to a discovered plot to destabilize the country, allegedly involving foreign nationals, drug barons, and efforts to manipulate electoral outcomes. Nkana justified the takeover, emphasizing the need to safeguard national security, civil peace, and territorial integrity. The military actions were comprehensive. President Umaro Sikolo Mbalo was placed under house arrest. All state institutions were shuttered, and the ongoing electoral process was suspended. Borders were closed, and a curfew was imposed between 9 p.m. and 6 a.m. The military pledged to retain control until conditions return to the constitutional normalcy. Conditions for a return to constitutional normalcy could be established. Now, what we're seeing here is a familiar pattern. Guinea-Bissau's latest coup is not just an anomaly, but a part of a recurring pattern of the political instability driven by corruption, weak institutions, and electoral disputes. Since 1998, the country has experienced multiple coups, each fueled by similar grievances. The 2025 elections, which excluded the PAIGC, was a flashpoint that mirrored past crises where the lack of inclusive political processes has often led to military interventions. This scenario resonates deeply with Zimbabwe, where corruption and electoral manipulation have long undermined democratic governance. The barring of PAIGC from the election in Guinea-Bissau echoes the experiences of Zimbabwean opposition parties, which have faced similar obstacles in challenging the ruling ZANU PF. The exclusion of legitimate opposition voices in both countries has eroded public trust and destabilized political systems, creating fertile ground for military action. And we see Zimbabwean reactions and reflections. Hopo Shimono's post on X about Guinea-Bissau coup prompted a wave of reactions from Zimbabweans, many of whom drew direct parallels from their own country's situation. Comments ranged from calls for a similar military intervention in Zimbabwe to expressions of frustration over the perceived cowardice of Zimbabwean military leaders. For instance, one user remarked this could happen in Zimbabwe, while another lamented Zimbabwe needs another democratic coup to chase away Emerson and Chigananda. The responses highlight growing disillusionment with the Zimbabwean political landscape, where President Emmerson Mnangagwa's administration has been criticized for corruption, electoral irregularities, and suppression of dissent. The 2023 elections in Zimbabwe, marred by allegations of vote rigging and concerns over independence of the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, have further fueled public frustration. The parallels with Guinea-Bissau are stark. Both nations suffer from weak institutions, rampant corruption, and a history of disputed elections that undermine democratic processes. So, what is the impact on the nation of Zimbabwe? Ladies and gentlemen, the coup in Guinea-Bissau serves as a cautionary tale for Zimbabwe, illustrating the potential consequences of unchecked corruption and institutional decay. Zimbabwe's economy remains fragile, vulnerable to shocks that could precipitate political instability. The governance suppression of fundamental freedoms, including media and civic space, mirrors the challenges faced by Guinea-Bissau, where the introduction of the Patriotic Act in 2023 has hindered investigative journalism and suppressed dissent. Moreover, the military intervention in Guinea-Bissau underscores the risks associated with Zimbabwe's own military dynamics. While Zimbabwe has not experienced a coup since 1980 until 2017, the military's role in politics remains a latent concern. The loyalty of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces to the ruling party, combined with public disillusionment, could create conditions conducive to a similar intervention if government failures persist. The coup in Guinea-Bissau has also bred implications for Southern African Development Community, the SADC, of which both Guinea-Bissau and Zimbabwe are members. SADC's response to the coup will be closely watched, particularly in light of its handling of the past electoral disputes in Zimbabwe. The regional bloc's ability to enforce its norms and prevent civilian deaths during electoral processes has been questioned, especially given the allegations of rigging in Zimbabwe's 2018 and 2023 elections. For Zimbabwe, the coup in Guinea-Bissau is a reminder of the importance of regional stability and the need for SADC to play a more assertive role in addressing governance challenges. The failure to do so could embolden military interventions across the region, further destabilizing an already fragile political landscape. So, what is the way forward? Breaking the cycle of coups and corruption in both Guinea-Bissau and Zimbabwe requires addressing the root causes of instability. This includes strengthening democratic institutions, combating corruption, and ensuring inclusive electoral processes. Enhancing the independence of institutions like the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, and addressing economic grievances that fuel public discontent. Internationally, there is need for a sustained engagement to support governance reforms in both countries. The international community must move beyond condemnation and work towards building resilient institutions that can withstand political pressures. For Zimbabwe, this also involves learning from the experience of other African nations such as Guinea-Bissau to prevent similar descent into military rule. Now, Archbishop Mwazha Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we see the Mwazha family snubbing the Heroes Acre burial. This burial battle has got ZANU PF shaken to their boots. Archbishop Paul Mwazha, the African Apostolic Church legend, has been laid to rest in Chirasauta, Manicaland, not at the Heroes Acre, where ZANU PF loves to stage their political photo ops. His family says, nah, we are keeping it real. No government takeover here. Let us unpack this hilarious hijack attempt. So now, picture this. Mnangagwa rolls out the red carpet, slaps a national hero badge on Mwazha faster than you can say propaganda, and plans a Heroes Acre extravaganza. But the family, they hit back with a mic drop. Private burial, please. Church vibes only. Turns out ZANU PF has been eyeing Mwazha's funeral like it's the ultimate PR stunt. Years of snagging big names to polish their image or flex their muscle, but this time, they got rejected. And get this, Mwazha has been getting the VIP treatment. Lately, senior ZANU PF bigwigs were wooing him like he is the key to their next election win. And oh, businessman Wicknell Chivayo, yes, the one with the heart of gold and a wallet full of cash, rolled up with a luxury car and fake stakes of money. Coincidence? Or a not so subtle bribe to win over the faithful? The church crowd raising eyebrows faster than a soap opera plot twist. Now, family spokesperson Dr. Masimba Mwazha spilled the tea. We are taking him to Chikomba Saturday, then Chirasauta Sunday. Private party, no politicians allowed. Ben, the 107-year-old icon who kicked off his journey in 1918 at Holy Cross Mission and built a spiritual empire, isn't about to be a ZANU PF puppet. Even in death, Mnangagwa sang his praises for peace and Christianity, and Opam Chingure Kashiri and Love Moma Tuke even made condolences house call, but the family was like, thanks but no thanks. We are keeping it holy, not political. Now, let us talk strategy. ZANU PF loves a good funeral flex, turning graves into billboards for loyalty and legacy. But Mwazha's family just pulled up off the ultimate power move, snubbing the Heroes Acre like it's a bad reality TV spin-off. This isn't just a burial, it's a statement, a rare hands-off from a party that's mastered the art of political photoshoot. And with Chivayo's gifts raising red flags, it's clear ZANU PF thought that they had scored a religious touchdown. Nope. Tumble on the 1-yard line. So folks, what is your verdict? What's your verdict? Did the Mwazha family outsmart ZANU PF's funeral flop? Smash the like button if you are cheering for the underdogs. Subscribe for more laughs.
O Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública, comunicado. Instaurado pela alta chefia de diferentes ramos das Forças Armadas, o Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública acaba de assumir plenitude dos poderes do Estado da República da Guiné-Bissau. Profundamente comprometido com os valores de segurança nacional, paz civil, da defesa da integridade territorial e independência da Guiné-Bissau, o Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública reage à descoberta de um plano em curso de desestabilização do nosso país, para a operacionalização da qual se montou um esquema operacional oriundo de alguns políticos nacionais, com a participação do conhecido barão de droga, nacionais e estrangeiros, bem como tentativa de manipulação de resultados eleitorais. Para a efetivação desse plano, foi descoberto pelo Serviço de Informação de Estado um depósito de armamento de guerra. Assim, até que toda a situação seja convenientemente esclarecida e reposta as condições para pleno retorno à normalidade constitucional, o Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública decide depor imediatamente o Presidente da República, encerrar até a novas ordens todas as instituições da República da Guiné-Bissau. Suspender até novas ordens, as atividades de todos os órgãos de comunicação social. Suspender imediatamente o processo eleitoral em curso. Encerrar a fronteira terrestre, marítimo, espaço aéreo nacional. Estabelecer recolher obrigatório das 19 horas até as 6 horas, até as ordens contrárias, até repousar as condições necessárias para restaurar a normalidade constitucional do Estado da Guiné, do guineenses. O Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública exercerá o poder do Estado a contar desta data. O Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança do Estado e Ordem Pública apela à calma, a colaboração dos guineenses e compreensão de todos perante essa grave situação imposta por uma emergência nacional. Bissau, 26 de novembro de 2025, Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração da Ordem Nacional. Muito obrigado. Denise Ncanha, chefe da Casa Militar do Presidente da República. O Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública. Comunicado. Instaurado pela alta chefia de diferentes ramos das Forças Armadas, o Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública acaba de assumir plenitude dos poderes do Estado da República da Guiné-Bissau. Profundamente comprometido com os valores de segurança nacional, paz civil, da defesa da integridade territorial e independência da Guiné-Bissau, o Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública reage à descoberta de um plano em curso de desestabilização do nosso país, para a operacionalização da qual se montou um esquema operacional oriundo de alguns políticos nacionais, com a participação do conhecido barão de droga, nacionais e estrangeiros, bem como tentativa de manipulação de resultados eleitorais. Para a efetivação desse plano, foi descoberto pelo Serviço de Informação de Estado um depósito de armamento de guerra. Assim, até que toda a situação seja convenientemente esclarecida e reposta as condições para pleno retorno à normalidade constitucional, o Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública decide depor imediatamente o Presidente da República, encerrar até a novas ordens todas as instituições da República da Guiné-Bissau. Suspender novas ordens, até a novas ordens, as atividades de todos os órgãos de comunicação social. Suspender imediatamente o processo eleitoral em curso. Encerrar a fronteira terrestre, marítimo, espaço aéreo nacional. Estabelecer recolher obrigatório das 19 horas até 6 horas, até a data. O Alto Comando Militar, para a restauração de segurança do Estado e ordem pública, apela à calma, à colaboração dos guineenses e compreensão de todos perante essa grave situação imposta pela uma emergência nacional. Bissau, 26 de novembro de 2025, Alto Comando Militar para a restauração da ordem nacional. Muito obrigado. Denise Nkanha, chefe da Casa Militar do Presidente da República. O Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública. Comunicado. Instaurado pela alta chefia de diferentes ramos das Forças Armadas, o Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública acaba de assumir plenitude dos poderes do Estado da República da Guiné-Bissau. Profundamente comprometido com os valores de segurança nacional, paz civil, da defesa da integridade territorial e independência da Guiné-Bissau, o Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública reage à descoberta de um plano em curso de desestabilização do nosso país, para a operacionalização da qual se montou um esquema operacional oriundo de alguns políticos nacionais, com a participação do conhecido barão de droga, nacionais e estrangeiros, bem como tentativa de manipulação de resultados eleitorais. Para a efetivação desse plano, foi descoberto pelo Serviço de Informação do Estado um depósito de armamento de guerra. Assim, até que toda a situação seja convenientemente esclarecida e reposta as condições para pleno retorno à normalidade constitucional, o Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública decide depor imediatamente o Presidente da República, encerrar até a novas ordens todas as instituições da República da Guiné-Bissau. Suspender novas ordens, até a novas ordens, as atividades de todos os órgãos de comunicação social. Suspender imediatamente o processo eleitoral em curso. Encerrar a fronteira terrestre, marítimo, espaço aéreo nacional. Estabelecer recolher obrigatório das 19 horas até 6 horas, até as ordens contrárias, até repostas as condições necessárias para restaurar a normalidade constitucional do Estado da Guiné, do guineenses. O Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública exercerá o poder do Estado a contar desta data. O Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança do Estado e Ordem Pública apela à calma, à colaboração dos guineenses e compreensão de todos perante essa grave situação imposta pela uma emergência nacional. Bissau, 26 de novembro de 2025, Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração da Ordem Nacional. Muito obrigado. Denise Nkanha, chefe da Casa Militar do Presidente da República. O Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública. Comunicado. Instaurado pela alta chefia de diferentes ramos das Forças Armadas, o Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública acaba de assumir plenitude dos poderes do Estado da República da Guiné-Bissau. Profundamente comprometido com os valores de segurança nacional, paz civil, da defesa da integridade territorial e independência da Guiné-Bissau, o Alto Comando Militar para a Restauração de Segurança Nacional e Ordem Pública reage à descoberta de um plano em curso de desestabilização do nosso país, para a operacionalização da qual se montou um esquema operacional oriundo de alguns políticos nacionais, com a participação do conhecido barão de droga, nacionais e estrangeiros, bem como tentativa de manipulação de resultados eleitorais. Para a efetivação desse plano, foi descoberto pelo Serviço de Informação de Estado um depósito de armamento de guerra. Assim, até que toda a situação